We bought this 1965 Firetruck to build a toy hauler so we can haul around all of our crazy machines. And then we bought a school bus and stole its Cummins engine and transmission. Now it's time to build a drive shaft, install the radiator, and hopefully get this thing running and driving with its new Cummins power plant for the first time. I have a chunk of school bus driveline right here. Oof. With a carrier bearing and a U-joint, which that fits there. Now I gotta figure out how to adapt that to this. This little stub of drive shaft that I saved from the Firetruck. That is thick. It's ridiculous how big those splines are. I've thought of all of the options, and none of them involve not cutting the end of this off. But if I know what the internal diameter of that is, that gets me a little bit more information. So I'm gonna lop that off. So I've decided that I am stupid. No, I've decided that we should make a quick trip up to the mountain to grab some more driveline parts from the bus, because I want one of these that has school bus U-joints on one end for that and a slip yoke somewhere in it, so I don't have to make that part, and I think it will make things much easier for adapting this. Worst case scenario, we get a little scenic road trip and some more spare parts. That's how you know we're going the right direction, when we're passing all the ATVs coming out the road. Look at that, the bus is still there. Really, I just keep forgetting to get parts out of the bus as an excuse to come up here more often. What are the odds that these splines are the same as the ones on the Firetruck, and I could just slip this piece right on?
It's not impossible.
The odds are not zero. Look at all these huckleberries. These are gonna be delicious here in another month or two. There's the rear section with the female end of the slip yoke. Man, if that drive shaft just works, that would be insane. If those splines just happen to be the same. We will find out. Well, for you, the viewers, we'll find out in like probably 10 seconds or so. Look at that, it's a moose. It's a young bull. You see his little stubby antlers?
Yeah, there he goes.
What a silly looking animal.
Moose are pretty strange.
They really are. Nice stuff to look at us. Hello, moose. Bye, moose. This video is brought to you by Brunt Boots. We've been wearing Brunt boots here in the shop for, I don't know, a few years now, and they are awesome. They're super comfortable, super durable, very affordable. I'm currently wearing the USA Marin boot, which, as the name implies, is made right here in the USA, and they are indeed extremely comfortable. I'm not generally much of a work boot kind of guy. I like lighter weight shoes. But these things, for such a beefy boot, they feel super lightweight.
And the Brunt work pants are unreal. They're light everywhere they need to be light, and thick and protective everywhere they need to be protective.
These are the Castello HD Tech Pants. They feel super duper lightweight, but they've got this nice double knee. So head over to bruntworkwear.com/grindhard and get $10 off your order, get some sweet boots, and maybe some pants.
Not quite.
No.
Darn.
I mean, that's fine. I didn't expect that to be the case. It just would have been really entertaining if it was. This is gonna be muchly easier. And let it soak in degreaser for a while. Think about life.
Everybody thinks about life a little bit better when they're soaking in degreaser.
Well, I mean, if you want to make a little bit of a stretch, you know, you've heard of the like shower thoughts things. Soaking in degreaser, taking a bath, same thing. I'm gonna go wandering and see if I can't find a piece of tube or even a piece of, I don't know, something thicker, solid, whatever, that's somewhere in the vicinity of this diameter so that I can just make a sleeve. That would be the easiest thing to do, because then I can just cut this, the length, cut that, put the sleeve in, sleeve them together. Conveniently, Chris had a chunk of steel that'll work perfectly for this. I'm cutting a taper on the end here before turning down the outside, just because that way when I flip it around and clamp it from the inside, then I can turn down the whole surface and not run into the chuck here. Oh, that is perfect. Nice. Maraca hammer. From now on, if we need this, it's the Maraca. Time to tack the sleeve into there so that whack that end in there without moving it. Oh, that is not DC.
I don't know why, but I had a premonition that was gonna happen.
What are you doing? Why? Oh, I know. It's because the doors are open and it's breezy in here.
You want me to shut them?
No, it's fine. I just put the tungsten closer in so it's still shielded. Let's see how this goes. Looks like we want to go about another inch or so. I don't want that to be bottomed out, so. So that's pretty much perfect. All I gotta do is true up this back edge here so it sits square against the tube there. So. This is the great thing about having a perfectly flat table. Just trying to figure out how to press this together. Way too long to fit in the press.
One of these things is probably not strong enough if you put it this way and just...
Oh, not a chance. And I mean, the good old-fashioned whack it with a hammer does kind of work, but I'm just trying to figure out how to keep it straight.
What if we turn it vertical, pin one side against this, and then use one of your jacks?
Oh, you know what? That's actually a great idea. Ladies and gentlemen, children, people, dogs, do not try this at home. This is an incredibly sketchy. Oh, howdy. Oh, wow. Looks like you guys are doing some precision machining. Precision machining happened a while ago. Now we're doing some really sketchy pressing.
I'm not sure if I regret giving Ethan this idea.
I was trying to figure out how to press this in, and Steven's like, oh, why don't you just put it under the beam and jack it up? I was like, I don't have a better idea.
Seems like a pretty good idea to be, man.
It is. It's just that it could go violently wrong.
Even Ethan's wearing safety glasses.
Yeah, that's just because they were already on my face. I wasn't actually. It's going.
Yeah, looks good. Where would humanity be if we didn't have hydraulics, man?
Living in caves.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, not really. They didn't have hydraulics to build pyramids, but they did have like 20,000 slaves, so.
Yeah, that's.
And like 1,000 years.
Yeah. So we have a couple more pyramids and that's it.
My favorite is when people say, we couldn't build them today with our technology. That is such baloney. Like, we couldn't build them the way, we don't know how they built them.
Yeah.
But you get together a few thousand excavators,
Oh yeah.
you'll have a pyramid in like a year.
It's just be very expensive.
Yeah, it'd be very expensive, but like, we have lasers, we have things that can cut rock very precisely, and we have cranes that can easily pick up those rocks. Like, if you think we can't build them today,
Yeah. That is good.
yeah, it gets me every time. Yoink.
I envisioned this going like really easily.
I did not, at any point, envision this going easily. But hey, we have a shaft of driving. And after clocking it and measuring, I did absolutely nothing about that. So we're just gonna find out if I was able to get this anywhere close. I got so busy trying to... Wow, that was severely lucky. It's within like, I would say, half a degree.
Oh, well, that's good.
Wow.
That's like as good as you could have done if you were trying.
If I was trying, yeah, I know. I made a mark and then I just completely forgot about it. Well, it's better to be lucky than good, that's what they say.
That is what they say. Nice. Nice.
That will work. Oh, look, there's a cat.
I know.
Get those mice, cat. Get them. I don't really know how straight it is. I've been rolling it across the table and eyeballing it as, the only method I really have to check its straightness. And, I don't know. We're just gonna put it in there. See what happens. We have a shaft of driving. A shaft of propulsion. Brought the radiator up a couple inches. It was hanging down below the frame, which I was thinking was gonna make it easier to mount, but it turns out after looking at it, it was gonna make it worse. And then I did some digging through my box of rubber dubber flubber stubbers, and I found these, which are BMW transmission mounts. Ought to be strong enough to hold in a radiator. So one of those on each side. This whole side plate on the radiator is also metal, steel, that's, unboltable. So I can just make a little bracket that comes straight off the side there, and I can just drill a hole in the frame right there, and then a tab to the radiator, be done with it.
All right, it is time to call the winner of the truck. This is gonna be awesome.
Hey, can I help you?
This is Edwin and Ethan from Grind Hard Plumbing Co., man.
Whoa, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
You won the truck and the $20,000 and the electric pit bike, man.
That's so crazy, man. Do you know what I'm doing right now?
No, what are you doing?
I just brought my daughter home from the hospital.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's terrible. What happened?
No. She was just born.
Oh, wow!
Oh, that's amazing.
I see what you mean there, yeah.
Wow, what a good day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. My heart just started racing because it's like, this is gonna be a great way to start our family.
That's awesome.
It's crazy too because most of my cars are Japanese from Japan, diesel. They are cool and I love them, but it's really hard to get parts for them. It doesn't have AC. And my lady was like, I don't know if I want the baby to be in this car too much. We get home and you guys call us.
That's crazy.
That is so cool.
This is crazy because the last guy, it was his birthday when we called him. Like, what is going on here?
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for everyone who entered. That's a huge reason why we get to do everything that we get to do. So we're gonna come at you with another giveaway. We're not sure exactly what yet, so comment below what you want to see, and we'll make that happen.
Oh, look at all this space. Look at all those chickens.
Speaking of chickens, how are all your little chickens doing?
My ducks?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they've grown so much. If you go out there and look at them, they're like twice the size they were last week. And the ducks are starting to get their adult feathers. Imagine going to a parts store with this thing and being like, well, I need some brake pads for a 1965 American LaFrance Firetruck. And I need an oil filter for a 1996 Ford B800 school bus. And I need some transmission mounts for a 90s BMW E36. Designed a bracket.
Oh, that's different than I was imagining.
Well, that's because these two sides fold up, and then those weld here. The 4 extra holes in there are because these have this little dimple on them, so I made a hole for that, and then I just made 4 of them just so that it's easier to get that aligned properly. I'll go ahead and cut this out of 3/16. That's ridiculous overkill, but whatever. That's pretty spiffy looking, huh? Super duper overkill. The other reason I use 3/16 because it looks extra beef. And then once I get it back in there with the bottom mounts, I'll figure out something for the top, but with bottom mounts and hoses attached to it, we could drive it around and it would be fine. I mean, not long term. That's why we start with the bottom mounts. Science! Gravity, specifically. It's installation time, baby!
It's definitely a 2-person install situation.
Yeah, I do want to handle that.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm just not doing that yet.
Yeah.
Lean it a little bit so the bottom is tucked in first. There we go. Got the transcooler lines hooked up. They're more or less the right length for now. Now it's just making a temporary fuel line so that we can throw it in that there can of diesel fuel when we're ready to fire this thing up. The last thing I need to figure out before we can do a little test start of this thing is I need to do something with the power steering, because right now it will just pump all the fluid out all over the place and then run the pump dry, which is not good for it. I could not find any adapters, so I just took a random fitting I had for this size of hose and just threaded it into the rubber of that just so that loops around. Okay, so that is the return line. On the transmission, I don't know which way is which, but I do know that neutral is either, it's one step back from one end or the other. So it's either all the way in and then one click back, or it's all the way out.
One of these batteries here real quick. We can always add a jumper pack if this isn't enough juice.
Okay, so we're gonna need a jumper pack. I actually put a battery terminal to the positive cable so that I can have proper battery terminal on there for the starter. And then I'm still using the jumper pack plus battery because the battery is not quite enough by itself. Let's try this again.
Yeah, shut up.
Wow. This time we'll do double jump packs. It was actually trying to drive, so we're not in neutral. Interesting. Let's hook up that turbo so it's actually got a little bit of power. It moves forward. The radiator isn't fully attached. It's crazy how quiet an engine can be with just no exhaust whatsoever. Turbo's quiet down an engine considerably. Should have finished mounting this, but here we are. Somebody could sit here and run the throttle. So we're golden. The engine doesn't need any electronics to run, so it doesn't matter that we don't have an alternator. Who cares about turn signals and brake lights and headlights, and whoever's sitting here is just the throttle.
Communication with the person running the steering wheel. Person with the steering wheel. No, too much throttle.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong? Very cool. That's one of the more Mad Max things we've done in a minute.
Yeah, I like the two-person operation.
Yeah, I was like the war boy.
It's a Bluetooth throttle.
Yeah. It worked
Bluetooth
pretty
in the sense
well,
that
actually.
I yell at Edwin and he hits the throttle. Yeah.
It was really smooth.
No more having to push it in and out of the shop. That's exciting. I found myself thinking I really should have just put a 4-cylinder Cummins in the trike. See how easy this was to get running?
Yeah.
The Firetruck isn't much longer than that.
No, I mean, like, I have my rear tire lined up with that, and it's only a few feet shorter in wheelbase. Pretty ridiculous when your motorcycle can make your Firetruck look small.
It's gonna look so cool, just fully packed with a bunch of stuff.
It really is. I'd call that a great success. In 1 week, well, actually only a few days, it runs and drives. Now we just have to do all of the other stuff and then build a bed. We can't do any more work on it right now because we're about to go on a very ridiculous adventure with 3 very interesting machines.
One of the more different things we've ever done, and we've done some weird stuff, so subscribe for next week.
It's got this little like ring around the outside and then this retainer ring. And I've never had one apart, but if you don't have that properly seated when you inflate the tire, you know, it comes exploding out and is basically a giant knife.
You get in a guillotine situation.
Exactly. Just ask Chris. He saw it happen when he was a teenager and he worked at a tire shop.